Well, hello there, and welcome to Conversational Shaving. Say hello to the nice people, Sarge.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, hello there, and how are you? I've already prepped my face with Village Barber shaving oil, and my razor today is going to be this twist-to-open, non-adjustable. That's the Gillette Slim Twist, and in there, on what will be its first use, I'm going to have one of these platinum. It's a super platinum blade. That's all it says, is super platinum. I've used these before. They're usually pretty good. And oh, let's see here. My soap is going to be this A&E Evans Apricity, or Apricity. It's got apricot scent in it. Very nice. This has been out for some time, but it's my first time using it. And I've already lathered in the Stirling collapsible shaving bowl. And I'm going to be using my synthetic conversational shaving brush, official brush of this channel anyway, and that's made by Frank Shaving. You can get it on Ally, A-L-Y, I believe it is. 22 bucks I saw it offered for recently. And let me go ahead and get a lather started. I hope you're doing well out there this week and always. And I'm just going to sort of paint a lather on here. I lathered it kind of pasty. In fact, this could even use just a touch. I mean, just a touch more water, not much at all. But I lathered it kind of pasty and I got it a little bit more fluffy, I guess you could say, in the bowl here. That's better, I think. Don't want to get it too thin or too thick. Go ahead and apply some more here. I believe this is the old formula, the old A&E soap formula. I've been getting those from them because what they still have in stock of the old formulas are very inexpensive. And they still lather pretty darn good. I will probably in the future try their new formula on their soaps, but I've always had pretty good luck with these soaps. So let me go ahead and set a couple of things aside here and let me wet my razor. And we'll go for pass number 1 with the grain. Here we go. Sarge is still down there on the floor. He's not complaining yet, but he usually doesn't like to be in here when I have the door closed. If he starts fussing, I'll have to let him out. Isn't that right, Sarge? He's a sweet cat. Although he's never terribly enthused about my YouTube channel. I don't know if you could hear it, but when I had him up to the camera before, he was kind of purring. Sometimes he'll purr real loud. I guess to him, I'm just one big weird looking cat. Okay. Well, so far so good. Nice scent on this soap. Only about a 3 or 4 out of 10 for scent strength. So far, anyway. It might build and fill the old necessity room with some lovely scent, but it is a nice apricot scent. Yeah, I'm beginning to smell it more now. It's very, very nice. but it doesn't hit you all at once. At least it's not hitting me. It wasn't hitting me all at once, but it is gradually building. Very nice. Still not one of those scents that'll peel the paint off the walls, which is no doubt a good thing. About 3 days worth of growth, although yesterday I didn't have as much growth as usual because I guess 3 days ago I had a very, very close shave. And there was a lot of sting when I applied the aftershave. Okay, rinse time again for the razor. And continuing on here. I put some plant food on my garden and some of the other things that I've planted around here. And some tulips that I ordered, some tulip bulbs, 40 of them I believe it is, they've arrived in the United States. They're direct from Holland, and I should have them soon. They're coming via FedEx. And they'll be just in time. Good time to start planting tulips. Supposed to get them in the ground before the first frost. I've still got a few more iris bulbs which came out of somebody's yard. I didn't steal them. Somebody put them out in a box. And I took quite a few of them, although there were still plenty, more than plenty left in that box in front of someone's house nearby here. And supposed to get those planted when the night temperatures are still above 40 or 50 degrees. I've planted quite a few around here, including mostly in my garden or nearby. And there's pass number 1 complete. I'll be right back for a second pass across the grain. Well, Sarge wasn't fussing too much, but I went ahead and let him out. And pass number 2 across the grain here. I only had one really big giant sunflower this year. And that kind of died off, so I deadheaded that plant, and there are more smaller sunflowers growing from that and from the other sunflower plants out back in my flower beds. Well, it passes for a garden here in the United States sometimes. Although when I told one friend that I was growing a garden, he thought I meant a food garden. And when he actually saw what I had going back there in the backyard, I guess you could call it, yeah, he said, oh, all that is a couple of flower beds. He seemed disappointed. He's got an uncle that lives in another town in this area that man is something like 95 years old, still in good shape, good health, and he grows a garden every year. And we went there and he let us pick some of the last of the cucumbers. That's going back 2 or 3 years or more. Time kind of slips by, you know. But anyway. If I live to be in my 90s, I hope I'm in at least fair health. Hope I can still get up and around. Which reminds me, I hope you're all in good health out there. And if for any reason you're not, I hope you get well, or as well as you possibly can soon. Okay. And here we go. I'll use my opposite hand for a moment here. These blades remind me very much of the blue Persona blades, the ones that come in the blue packaging. The regular ones, not the med preps. Although those are good too, but I've heard that all those are is super sterilized, regular blue Persona blades. I don't know. Of course, the blades themselves aren't blue, but the packaging is. And I guess the red ones are the ones from Israel. Or so I've read or been told. I think I have just one tuck of those, and I've used one or two of them occasionally. I'll go over to the other side of my neck here. We're about ready to finish up this pass here. And I'll be right back for pass number 3, against the grain. Okay, we'll go against the grain now, and I'll start on my neck this time. I thought I had more to talk about in this video, but oh, I suppose I could talk about a trip I took a while back. Another trip to Kansas. Now the cat wants in again. Kitty? Where are you? What are you doing? Just scratching the door for kicks and giggles, I guess? No, well. I think I'll save, well, I've already put the pictures from that trip, the ones that I took anyway, up on my other social media. So I may go over those again for those of you that aren't my friend on any other social media, and give a little explanation for those. Right now, as much as I'm enjoying this shave, and I'm really enjoying the scent of this soap that keeps building in a good way. But anyway, for that other stuff, I think I'll save it for another video, perhaps. I guess I could give you a little hint about some of it. Visited a place where my maternal grandparents' home was supposed to have been from, a military base that I didn't even know that we could go on to, but you have to go on to this base to see some, a couple of attractions. Well, I'll tell you more about that, I guess, in another video. But my grandparents' little house, apparently, I think, came from an officer's row on this military base. One that was raised after World War I. Goes back quite a ways. And their house finally was torn down not too long ago. Yeah, after World War I, Army surplus of all types kind of got its start here in the United States. not just army clothes and coats and camping gear and blankets, but houses and perhaps other structures. Were being sold off after our relatively brief time in World War I. I mean, this country's relatively short time in World War I. I guess the U.S. Marines showed up, and some French guys or some British guys. Anyway, somebody that was on our side, but that had been fighting over there since 1914. At least their country had been. They ran up to the Marines and says, "We got to retreat." And the Sergeant York or whoever it was, the head of the Marine outfit that showed up, he famously yelled, "Retreat hell, we just got here." And they even made a movie called Retreat Hell. Anyway, I'll be right back for pickups. Well, hey, Sarge, what time is it? It's pickup time, Sarge. Isn't that exciting? Can you hear him purring? All right. Sarge, I'll let you back down. I'll let you back out. Thanks for letting me borrow you for a moment. Do you want back out? Well, anyway, Sarge didn't want out. He's back down here. But we'll see. We'll see how he gets along. He feels trapped in here. But he was waiting outside the door. I hear him purring again. Seems like there's still a lot of stubble and still a lot of audio feedback, but it is getting mowed down here. It just takes a minute, and I might be over shaving. This blade's sharp enough. It's not as sharp as a feather blade, but like the Persona blues, which are lab blues, I should say. I guess the lab is short for label, I don't know. But unlike the Persona red, the lab blues, actually these are almost exactly like those Persona lab blues in my experience. Your experience may be different, your mileage may vary. But they're not as sharp as a feather blade, but they do seem to have quite a bit of sharpness and considerable smoothness, excuse me. I want to kind of go over this one more time. I have these trouble spots. And I don't really like over shaving, although I do it a lot. And perhaps I shouldn't be chasing BBS like I do. See, that's pretty good. Except for a couple of little spots, that side is pretty good. And that I'm still having some trouble with. Oh, that's better. And I think we're going to call that a shave, and except for maybe something I just felt over here because I pulled the skin rather taut, T-A-U-T, and maybe just the random little bits over here. Yeah, that's pretty much BBS, except there's another spot. Of course, every time I pull the skin more taut, I notice something. Well, at the very least, that's a DFS, a darn fine shave, and for all practical purposes, I think you could say it's BBS, baby bottom smooth. I'll be right back with Mr. Towel. Say hello to our good friend Mr. Towel, won't you? Ah. Ah. Let's see here. Ooh, feels pretty nice. Our dryers haven't been working as well here. I think they turned them down for the hot weather or something, so it wouldn't get so hot in the laundry room. But things come out damp, and I don't always want to pay to run them through another cycle in the dryer. So Mr. Towel got hung up just slightly damp, but he's not as soft as usual. He's a little scratchy. Oh well, that's not really his fault. I'm sorry, Mr. Towel. Let's never fight again. Okay, let's see here. I'll start a brief recap, and then I'll put the finishing touches on the shave here. Before I get on camera, I prep my face with Village Barber shaving oil, and I usually let that sink in for a few minutes while I'm busy getting things all together and getting things lathered in the bowl here. Well, before I show you the bowl, let me show you the razor. It was this twist-to-open, non-adjustable Gillette Slim Twist. Now, in the UK, I should note, this was called the Slim Twist. In the United States, it was called the Knack. But this is a Slim Twist because, well, somewhere on here it says made in England. It might be on the inside, but this was made in England, so it's a Slim Twist, and not the one they called the Knack. But it's the same razor, I guess. And my soap has been this Ariana and Evans Apricity. Smells like apricots, very nice. And I lathered with the synthetic conversational shaving brush with the long blue handle and the black band around here that says conversational shaving. That's made by Frank Shaving, available on A&E, A-L-Y. Used to be available on Amazon, but I haven't seen it on there lately anyway. And I lathered, in this, the Stirling collapsible shaving bowl. Okay, let me set those things aside, and I'll reach over here and get this. Oh, I forgot to mention also, in my razor was, on its first use, was one of these super platinum blades right there. And now I'm going to apply some of the TN Dickinson's Witch Hazel, which is an astringent. It's 14% alcohol by volume. And no scent except for that of witch hazel and maybe alcohol. Maybe. But it does have alcohol in it. Ooh, yeah, there's a little bit of sting there, especially on the neck. Put some on the forehead, the eyelids around in there, trying not to get it in my eyes, especially since it's got alcohol in it. If a witch hazel doesn't have alcohol, it's just called a toner. If it has the usual 14% alcohol by volume, then it's known as an astringent. but not as reddening or stingy on the face as if you applied it just plain alcohol. And okay, here we go. Next thing, and I'll show you that again. This was the TN Dickinson's Witch Hazel. Now I have the matching Ariana and Evans Apricity, the aftershave right there. Also a nice label. Shake that up a little bit, and I may have to cut here if I can't get this lid off. I thought I had the cap off of this before, but it is coming off there slowly but surely. I tell you what, let me pause here because I didn't open this to sample the scent before, so it may take me a minute. Okay, turns out it's a lovely scent, as I kind of knew it would be. So let me get some of this going in my hands here. Very narrow restrictor on this bottle, which is good. And it was very well sealed for shipment. So I'll put a little bit on the wrists and up behind the ears, on the temples, back of the neck. There's a little bit of sting, so I think this might have a small amount of alcohol in it, but oh my goodness, it smells terrific, and it's a stronger scent, I think, than the soap itself. In fact, I could even use a little bit more of that. Oh, that's lovely. That's really nice. So that's the matching A&E Ariana and Evans Apricity apricot scent aftershave, and try to get this, yeah, I got the cap back on there. And one more thing, and I'll leave you in peace. It's the Nivea Men Maximum Hydration Moisturizing Post-Shave Balm, which is the only Nivea post-shave balm I know of that actually also has alcohol in it. Usually, Nivea aftershave balms have no alcohol in them. But part of the reason I'm using this today is because I still have quite a bit left and it's easy to get out of the bottle. So, feeling a little bit of sting and some cooling. And otherwise, it's just like your regular Nivea aftershave balm. Let me see, I don't want to get this in my eyes, but I like getting it on the eyelids and around the eyes, forehead. I think we're okay. That's it for now. Take care. I'll see you next week, I hope. Peace.